Hello, all of you. I'm Dr. Vallur Dhanraj, working as professor in BVC Engineering College, Autonomous, Waterloo. In this session, I'm going to discuss about the scattering matrix, so the contents which I'm going to focus upon is formulation, properties of scattering matrix, along with significance, and calculation of S matrix for two-port, E-plane, H-plane, and magic tee. So, if you see at lower frequencies, the physical length of the network is much smaller than wavelength of the signal transmitted. In this particular scenario, means a circuit operating at frequencies less than microwave, the size of the circuit is much smaller compared to the wavelength. We are able to measure parameters like amplitudes, voltage, or current. And using that, which are represented in terms of the admittance parameters, impedance parameters, hybrid parameters, and transmission parameters. If we are able to measure voltage and current, all these are possible. If not, ABCD or any of the parameters are not possible. So why these parameters? They are describing the network or the circuit characteristics. So if the circuit is operating at higher frequencies, that is in the microwave range, then the wavelength of the signal is very small. It is less than, much less than compared to an individual component of a system. In such a situation, measurement of either voltage or current may not be possible. Instead of that, we can go for field measurement. At convenient points, field strengths can be estimated. So, at higher frequencies, that is at the microwave range, the network analysis is becoming very tedious. We cannot even represent the circuit parameters in terms of Z, Y, H, or ABCD because of the measurement issues. So that is the reason why instead of measuring the secondary parameters like voltage and current, we are measuring the field components. Electric field and magnetic field components can be measured at the convenient desired points, and using which we can estimate the power using the Poynting vector theorem. Power can be estimated, isn't it? So the scattering matrix is formulated based on the power measurements. It is relating the incident and reflected wave characteristics and how the signal is flowing in various ports of a circuit. So it is okay at microwave frequencies, a circuit can be analyzed using the scattering matrix, and every parameter in this scattering matrix can be measured using a network analyzer, a 50 ohm network analyzer operating in the range. And the voltage and current and impedance of microwave frequencies cannot be measured in a direct manner. Okay, because of the measurement, okay, because of issues involved, we are going for the field measurements, field component measurements, and then estimating the power, how it is distributed amongst various ports. So, scattering parameters of a device can be conveniently used to determine signal flow conditions when the device is inserted in a microcircuit. These are the parameters if I'm talking about a two-port device where S11, S12, S21, S22 are there. We are going to discuss in detail in the next. So like Z, Y, H and ABCD, S parameters of a two-port can be represented in this manner. What are there in this particular S parameters? Representation is these two, B1, B2, these are the reflected signals at port 1 and port 2. Likewise, A1, A2 are the incident signals or input signals at port 1 and port 2 respectively. And S11 to S22 are the coefficients of the scattering parameters. So the description will be given in the coming up slides. So we have an alternative for analyzing a circuit or a network operating in the microwave frequency range, that is scattering matrix. So it can be defined as a square matrix of set of elements which relate incident and reflected waves at the port of the junction. The diagonal elements of the S matrix represents reflection coefficients and of diagonal elements represent transmission coefficients. As it is a square matrix and a number of elements in that will represent the number of ports that particular circuit or network is comprising of. Suppose if I am analyzing a two-port network, then the size of the scattering matrix will be 2 by 2. Either row size or column size are indicating number of ports. So further understanding the concept of scattering matrix, consider a network. Here a voltage source has been connected to number of lines. N number of lines are there. I can consider each line as a port. So this is port 1, port 2, likewise port N. And for each port, inputs are like A1, that is input for port 1. B1, the reflected signal from port 1. Likewise, A2, B2, AN, BN. Likewise, a number of ports are given, inputs and outputs. The input is from the source and the reflection, that is output, going to the source. This way the circuit is closed. Now, if we wanted to analyze this particular circuit, can be done using the scattering parameters like this. What is there in it? The first matrix, the column matrix, is representing the reflected signals. The second column matrix is representing the input signals. And the square matrix is representing the scattering matrix coefficients. What are there in it? S11, S12, S13 up to S1n. Likewise, SN1, SN2, SN3 up to SNn. Okay. So this network can be analyzed using this particular scattering matrix representation. So coming to the significance, S parameters are playing a major role in the analysis of networks operating at microwave frequencies, and every scattering parameter is measurable using a network analyzer. And using this scattering matrix, we are able to analyze not only two-port, multi-port components also can be analyzed. And we are going to see the analysis or scattering matrix computation for isolators, circulators, dielectric couplers, directional couplers, amplifiers, E-planes, H-planes, magic T, and hybridings. In this session, I'm going to cover the multi-port junctions like E-plane, H-plane, and magic T's, along with two-port devices. So, coming to the properties of scattering matrix, S matrix is a square matrix of order n by n. As I said, n is indicating number of ports of the circuit, which I have considered. Next is under perfect match conditions, diagonal elements S are equal to 0. What are the diagonal elements? S11, S22 in a two-port network. What actually S11 means is S11 represents, the second one is representing, suppose if I write SII, this second I, this is the first I, this is the second I, this is the second I is representing the input port, and the first I represents the output port. Means SII means I'm applying input at port I and observing the output at port I, and it is represented as the coefficient SII, and it is going to become 0. Why it is 0? Under perfectly matched condition, there won't be any reflections. So B is becoming 0. Only A is there, and it is going to be fully absorbed at the junction. No reflections are there. So under perfectly matched conditions, diagonal elements of the scattering matrix are going to become 0. Right. Next, S is symmetric for all reciprocal networks. We know that reciprocity, like the device is performing in a similar manner, even if the inputs and outputs are exchanged or swapped. Suppose two-port network you consider, port 1 and port 2 are there. Port 1 is intended for input, port 2 is intended for taking output conventionally or in general. But if I apply input at port 2 instead of port 1, the output at port 1 instead of port 2 is similar. In such a case, I can consider that network or component as a reciprocal component. So I can check whether the device is reciprocal or not by using scattering matrix. By transposing the matrix, if both of them are same, S is equal to S power T, then I can say the network is reciprocal or symmetric. And next important point is, for a passive circuit, the determinant of scattering matrix is less than or equal to 1. And this particular property can be used for verifying whether the computation is done in a perfect manner or not. Suppose if you have done any mistake in the estimation of scattering matrix coefficients, then the determinant may be crossing 1, more than 1. Sometimes we may get more than 1, but actually it should be equivalent to 1 or less than 1. So we can recheck the values whichever has been estimated using the fourth property. Coming to the fifth property, if the device is lossless, then S is unitary. The scattering matrix, it becomes unitary. If I do this particular operation, S into S star is equal to I. What is the meaning of it? S, the scattering matrix, and S star, the complex conjugate of scattering matrix. If these two are multiplied, then I'm going to get an unit matrix. Then I'm going to get a unit matrix. So in this, if I do comparisons, R1, that is row 1 of S, multiplied with C1, that is column 1 of S star, it is equivalent to 1. Likewise, R2, C2 is going to equivalent to 1. Because if I am comparing the multiplication of S and S star with I, so the diagonal elements of I are 1s. So R1, C1, R2, C2, R3, C3, R4, C4, likewise R and Cn. Okay, as per the number of ports that the device network is having, all these values are coming as diagonal. The multiplication, the result of this matrix multiplication will give such a combination. So the product of S and S star, the row and column is equivalent to 1. The diagonal elements are going to become 1. R1 C1, R2 C2, R3 C3, likewise. And one more is, if I do multiplication of a row with other column, okay, that means R1 C2, R2 C3, likewise. If I do multiplication other than the corresponding component, corresponding column element, what happens? It is going to become 0. This is also from the comparison only. Other than the diagonal elements, all other elements are 0. So we can compare the product of the scattering matrix and its complex conjugate. If I equate it, then R1 C1, R2 C2, R3 C3, Rn Cn is going to become 1 and all others are becoming 0. So this is verifying whether the given device is lossless device or not. We can check it. Okay, means once if the statement is given, it is a lossless, then we can apply this particular property for the evaluation of the scattering matrix coefficients. Now, calculation of a S matrix for a two-port junction. So here, port 1 and port 2 are there. In this V1, that is voltage, plus symbol has been given, that is indicating the direction. Input signal at port 1, V1 plus, and V1 minus indicating the reflected signal at port 1 because of the mismatches. Port 1 is not perfectly matched with the two-port junction. So likewise, at port 2, V2 plus and V2 minus are there, input and reflected signals. Now, this two-port network can be analyzed using the scattering equation, scattering matrix equation like this. V1 minus V2 minus is equivalent to S11, S12, S21, S22, V1 plus, V2 plus. What it indicates? These are the reflected signals, these are the incident signals, and this is the scattering matrix. So the behavior of a two-port network can be analyzed using this equation. V dash V minus is equal to S into V plus. This is a generalized equation. What is the always represent? Okay, V minus represents the reflected signal going in the reverse direction. V plus means positive direction, means going in the forward direction, reverse direction, forward direction. So V minus is equal to S into V plus. The instant variables are therefore, so the independent variables are therefore voltages because they are entering into the circuit. They are not under the influence. Okay, after entering into the circuit, then the reflection is dependent signal. See, the independent variables are voltages entering into the two-port, while the dependent variables are those having the two-port. Means the reflections are dependent, whereas the independent signals, independent variables are voltages. Means their incident signals are feeded input signals. The specific element of the scattering element can be calculated using this particular formula. Sij is equal to V1 Vi minus by Vj plus at Vk plus is equal to 0. What it means? Vk, the means corresponding K port number it is applied a match termination, and I am measuring the voltages at the other ports. I and J ports are measured. So S11, this a two-port junction for S11, what it indicates, as I have shown the diagram, V1 minus by V1 plus, means at port 1 the input has been given, at port 1 the output has been verified. This is the reflected signal, that is the output signal, this is the input signal, making port 2 terminated with matched impedance. Okay, likewise we can estimate S11, S22, as I said, B indicating the reflection, A indicating the input. A Means here the number is indicating the port. B1 at port 1 the reflected signal, A1 at port 1 input signal, A2 input at port 2 signal, right? Input at a port 2. Likewise, S11 is representing the reflection coefficient. Reflection coefficient at input port, because I'm considering port 1 as input. So I'm considering this S11 as the reflection coefficient at port 1. And same line, S22, which is equivalent to B2 by A2 at A1 is equal to 0. What is this meaning? A1, that is input applied at port 1 is equivalent to 0, means I have applied match termination at port 1 and I'm measuring reflected signal at port 2, incident signal at port 2. So B2 by A2 indicating S22, the reflection coefficient at the output port, and making the input port match terminated. On same lines, S parameters can be calculated under a perfect match condition at the input or output terminals. Okay, so that is why we are considering 0. Then S12, this is the reverse transmission coefficient. S12 is considered as, why? Because I'm applying input at port 2, see this one A2, and I'm observing the output at port 1, B1. B1 by A1, making A1 is equal to 0. A1 is, that is port 1 input not been given. Only it has been terminated with 0. So I'm just observing the port 1 output giving input at port 2. That is why it is called a reverse transmission coefficient. Likewise, S21. Here, input is being given at port 1, output is observed at port 2. So B2 by A1. A2, that is input not been given, the no input has been given at port 2. So S21 is indicating the forward transmission coefficient. By using S parameters, we can directly measure VSWR, power and phase. So coming to the parameters, okay, there are 3 we are supposed to discuss about. Insertion loss is there. Whenever we are introducing a new component into the circuitry, there will be certain loss in the signal. That is considered as insertion loss. So the insertion loss is due to attenuation by the component inserted or due to reflection by the component inserted. So insertion loss is an integration of attenuation due to the component inserted and reflection due to the component introduced, a combination of these two. So we can represent insertion loss in dB as 10 log of incident power by output power to the base 10, which is nothing but Pi by P0. And we can represent in terms of amplitudes, A1, A2, likewise AN are there, no? What are those? They are inputs. And B1, B2, B3 up to Bn are there, they are outputs, reflected signals. So they are all representing amplitudes. So we can represent power in terms of square of the amplitudes. Why half is coming? Because, okay, at maximum, okay, 50% power only will be transferred as per the maximum power transfer theorem. So Pi is equal to 1 by 2 A1 square and P0 is equal to 1 by 2 B2 square. What is the meaning? Pi is the incident power, Po is the output power. Okay, so the insertion loss can be calculated as 20 log 1 by S21 to the base 10. 20 log 1 by S21 as the base 10. So you can here understand I'm taking S21. Why it is S21? Because A1 by B2. Usually S parameters are represented as output by input. So in such case, B2 by A1 is coming. That is the reason why I can write A1 by B2 as 1 by B2 by A1. So B2 by A1 is nothing but S21. That is why 1 by S21 is coming. I hope you are understanding. Okay, once again I am repeating. Usually scattering parameters are represented as reflected signal by incident signal. But here it is incident signal by reflected signal. I can write this A1 by B2 as 1 by B2 by A1. So 1 by B2 by A1 is nothing but S21. So 1 by S21 is coming like this, and insertion loss can be estimated on film lines. Transmission loss or attenuation loss. It is nothing but input power minus reflected power by transmitted power. We can calculate the attenuation in this particular manner. Finally, attenuation in dB is equal to 10 log of 1 minus S11 square by S21 square to the base 10. Why it is so? It is estimated from the equation Pi minus 10 log of 10 log of Pi minus PR by PO. What is that? Input power minus reflected power by transmitted power or output power. Okay, so we can calculate in this manner. Okay, then attenuation is there. Okay, reflection is there. Both are combinedly giving insertion loss. So this is the return loss or reflection loss. Okay, so it is input power by input power minus reflected power, which is 10 log of Pi by Pi minus R to the base 10. So return loss in dB is equivalent to 10 log of 1 by S1, 1 minus S11 square to the base 10. Okay. Now I'm going to discuss about E-plane junction, which is a 3-port junction, means which is considered under multi-port junction. And immediately after discussion, we are going to evaluate the scattering matrix of this particular E-plane T. So E-plane T is formed by attaching a simple waveguide to the broader dimension of the rectangular waveguide. Okay, what does it mean? Rectangular waveguide will have, okay, breadth and width. Broader dimension, nothing but A, and wider dimension, nothing but B. So along B, if I introduce another waveguide, then an E-plane junction is formulated. So in this process, the main arm will have two ports. One is port 1 and port 2, and these two are called as collinear ports. And port 3 is generated because of the auxiliary waveguide which has been introduced in the broadside direction. And we call port 3 as a side arm or E arm. Why it is called E arm? Because port 3 is parallel to the electric field in the dominant mode. When I feed, okay, an electric, okay, when I feed a T10 mode signal, the electric field component will be normal, and port 3 also will be parallel to that electric field. That is why it is called as E arm. You can see the diagram. Okay, port 1, port 2, port 3 are there. In the next diagram, it will be very much bigger. Yeah, here you can see port 1, port 2, port 3. This is the side arm which I'm talking about, and this is the broader dimension of the waveguide. Okay, and this is B, and this is called A. Okay, breadth and width are there, and I'm introducing a new waveguide, an auxiliary waveguide. Okay, I'm attaching it to this main waveguide, main arm and okay, main waveguide and the secondary waveguide. This is a E-plane T, and representation is 1, 2, and 3 ports. And if I'm giving input at port 3, what happens? It will be shared among port 1 and port 2. But port 1 and port 2 are out of phase. So they, because of the separation, because the signal is coming from the other plane, okay, one is going to be inverted, whereas the other is as it is. So output and inputs are in this particular manner. So if I'm feeding inputs at port 1 and port 2, we are going to get a different signal at port 3, because if I am giving equal amplitude signals, same phase signals, they are going to be cancelled at a port 3. Why? Because I'm going to get a different signal. Suppose if I am giving equal amplitude but opposite in phase, I'm going to get, okay, a strong signal, means a additive signal I'm going to get, because minus of minus will be positive, right? So I'm going to get an additive signal, a strong signal I'm going to get. So this is the operation. So the input power at port 3 is okay, distributed equally between ports 1 and 2 with a phase shift of 180 degrees. By analogy, voltage relationship in the series circuit, E-plane junction is often called a series junction. Okay, and E-plane T acts as a power divider or power splitter. Okay, as we have seen, Power divider means when I am giving power input at port 3 is equally divided but opposite in phase. And also, okay, we can say that it is a power splitter. Power splitter. Okay. So evaluation, as it is a 3-port, 1, 2, 3 ports are there. So 3-port junction it is. So the scattering matrix will be 3 by 3. As I said, okay, if a device is an M port, then scattering matrix will be of M by M. So here 3-port, 3 by 3. So the matrix is defined in this manner. And if the E-plane is perfectly matched, okay, with the help of a screw tuners or inductive or capacitive windows at junction 3, okay, if port 3 is perfectly matched, where from I'm giving input, so then S33 becomes 0. And the waves that are fed into port 3, the waves occurring at port 1 and port 2 of the collinear arm will be in opposite phase and the same magnitude. Means I'm going to get equal amplitude but opposite in phase because of 180 degrees phase shift. So why it is S13, S23, just see in the diagram. You see the diagram. Where is that? See, yes, okay, I'm feeding from port 3. I'm observing output at port 1. So what is the corresponding scattering parameter? S31. Sorry, S13. Why? I'm observing output, first port. Input is applied at port 3. On same lines, here, if I'm applying at port 3, I'm observing at port 2. So S23, S13 and S23, these two are, okay, opposite in phase. As a result, okay, the separation is, okay, phase separation is 180 degrees. So negative sign will be coming. So that is the reason why here S13 and S23 are minus. And from the symmetric property, we can write S12 is equal to S21, S13 is equal to S31, S23 is equal to S32. As I said, reciprocity means input and outputs are swapped and the circuit is giving same response. Okay, in such case, okay, we can write the components symmetric in nature. The scattering matrix, even if I take transpose, it is same as that of the actual scattering matrix. So considering all the values using the properties whatever I have written, so substituting them in this, we'll be getting the modified scattering matrix in this particular manner. And now I am applying okay, the fifth property, that is unitary property, S into S star is equal to I. As I said, first I am taking the scattering matrix and I am taking this, okay, complex conjugate of the same scattering matrix. If I do multiplication, and it is going to become, okay, unitary matrix. It is going to become unitary matrix provided if the circuit is lossless. So see here, if I do multiplication, this row, this is row 1, row 2, and this is row 3. This is column 1, column 2, column 3. What is this one? This is the S matrix and this is the S star matrix, that is complex conjugate matrix, and this is the unitary matrix. Okay, we all know row multiplied by column is equivalent to first element. First row, first column is equivalent to first element. Second row, second column is equivalent to second element. Second element. And third row, third column is equivalent to third element. Are you understanding? First row, first column, first row, second column, first row, third column. Okay, second row, first column, second row, second column, second row, third column. This one. So third row, first column is first element, third row, second column is second element, third row, third column is last element. So if you observe R1, C1, it is equivalent to 1, R2, C2, it is equivalent to 1, R3, C3, it is also equivalent to 1. Other than that, any other multiplication is leading to 0. And I'm using that. So first I will do R1, C1. What happens? S11 into S11 star is S11 square, modulus of S11 square. S12 into S12, again it is also square. S13 into S13 square is equal to 1. Likewise, S12 star S12 square, S22 star S22 square, S minus S13 minus S13 square is equal to 1. So third one, S13 star is equal to S13 square minus S13 minus S13 star is equal to S13 square. 0 into 0 is equal to 0. Okay, is equal to 1. R1 C1, R2 C2, R3 C3 are given. Next is third row. This is third row because less number of elements are there. That's why third row and first column. This is the first column. R1, that is S11 into S13. Sorry, S13 into S11 star. You can see minus S13 into S12 star and 0 into 0. This one, okay, is equal to 0. So equating and solving the above equations means first I am considering first and second equations. First and second equations are equated. What happens? 1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2 are common. 1 3 1 3 are common. So S11 is equal to S12 S22. See this one. You can see S11 is equal to S22. Likewise, from equation 3, this is the equation 3. So S13 square plus S13 square is equal to 1. So S13 is equal to 1 by root 2. Two values have been obtained. Okay. And from equation 4, S13 is not equivalent to 0 because already some value, finite value has been obtained. So I can make these two are equivalent. Okay, S1 star is minus S12 star is equivalent to 0. So S11, S22, S11, S12 are equal and it is equivalent to S22. So substituting all the values, the scattering matrix of E-plane T junction will be obtained in this particular manner. 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by root 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 2, minus 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2, minus 1 by root 2, 0. This is the scattering matrix which you are interested about. Okay. Now, this is the actual view of the E-plane T junction. And this is the equivalent circuit diagram of an E-plane T junction. Now, E-plane acts as a 3 dB splitter. Okay, and now let us go with a problem. Show that E-plane T junction acts as a 3 dB splitter. We know that B is equal to S into A. What is B input? Sorry, reflected signal. S is the scattering matrix. A is the input signal. So from scattering matrix of E, okay, B1, B2, B3, it is equivalent to scattering matrix. Just now what we have arrived at, and A1, A2, A3, these are the inputs. Okay, so if I am applying at port 3, that means A3 is there. Remaining all are 2 are zeros. Remaining 2 are zeros. Okay, then what happens? B1, B2, B3 will be after multiplication and after equating the individual elements, we are going to get these equations. So if substitute A3 is not equal to 0 other than A3, all the other values are 0, then I'm going to get B1, okay, which is equal to 1 by root 2 A3, and B2 is equal to minus 1 by root 2 A3. So whatever has been applied at port 3, it has been equally divided amongst port 1 and 2 with opposite phase. So this is the okay observation, means as per the problem given. So port 1 and port 2 are giving okay equal in magnitude but opposite in phase signals. So it is E-plane T acts as a 3 dB splitter. Okay, and coming to the H-plane junction. So here just the secondary waveguide is inserted along the width, and okay, this is this particular arm is lying in the same plane as that of the magnetic plane. Okay, so that is why it is called as a H-plane T. The magnetic plane and the port injected, both of them are in parallel, so that is why it is called H plane T. Okay, and you can see this. Okay, along the width have means a waveguide has been inserted. Okay, and port 1, 2, 3 are there. All the three ports are lying on the same plane. On the okay, this is the electrical equivalent of the H plane T junction. And here, if I am giving input at port 3, it is equally divided, and there is no phase difference because all the three are in the same plane. Okay, we are just dividing the input equally among the port 1 and port 2. If I am giving input at port 1 and port 2, okay, sum will be obtained at the port 3. In the H arm, what I am going to get is sum. Okay, port 1 and port 2, whatever inputs have been given, addition takes place. In the earlier, in E plane T, it is difference. Okay, because it is in the out of plane. Okay, so this is the operation. Port 1 and port 2 are output at port 3, and the additive action will be taking place. Input ports, port 1 and port are fed with signal, and at port 3, additive signal will be coming out. On the other hand, if port 3 is given input, it is equally divided among the port 1 and port 3. And here, S13, as I said, S13 means at port 1, output has been verified, port 3 has been given input. And S23 means at port 2, output verified, as port 3, input has been given. So, so here you can see at port 3 has been given. So S13 and S23. What is S13? Output is obtained at port 1. 3 is given as input signal. And same lines, 2, 3. 2 is the output port and 3 is the input port. Okay. So the operation is very much similar, but the only difference is all the three ports are on the same plane, and the phase difference, okay, means the outputs, both the ports are in phase, or the ports are in phase. Okay. And S matrix, as usual, H matrix is H plane T is again a 3-port junction, and it is having a 3x3 scattering matrix. Okay, and from the similarity property we can use, and S33, which is the only port input port where I have applied the input, okay, considered as a perfectly matched junction, then S33 is becoming 0. And using the properties, so we can calculate on the scattering matrix. Okay, R1, C1, R2, C2, again, and the same process has been adopted. Finally, from the equations, so what we can get is, okay, and this is R1, C1, you can see, okay, how R1, C1, R2, C2, R3, C3. So all the three equations, and R3, C1, R3, C1. Okay, okay, using these particular 4 equations, you can get S13 is equal to 1 by root 2, S11 is equal to S22, and already S11 is equal to minus S12. Okay, from equation 4, you can equation 4, this one. So we can take S13 common and S11 star and plus S12 star, which is equal to 0. S13 is a non-zero parameter, so S11 star is equivalent to minus S12 star. So this relation has been obtained, and okay, substituting the values, okay, S matrix of the H plane T junction will be like this. Okay, and this is the actual diagram, and this is the equivalent circuit, and this is the comparison. And coming to the hybrid junction, which is made up of 2 junctions, what we have discussed. 1, 2, and 4 is forming the E plane junction. 1, 2, and 3 is forming the H plane junction. The combination you can see. Okay, along the 4th port, which is a okay E arm. Okay, we are going to get a different signal, and along the H arm, we are going to get some signal. So as it is a 4-port device, okay, the scattering matrix will be 4 by 4 in size. And as I said, fourth port, which is the E-plane port, which is out of in phase, okay, with respect to port 1 and port 2. And port 3, which is in phase, okay, which is a H-plane T, it is in phase with the, okay, port 1 and 2, that is why it is same, okay, both of them are same, whereas here there is a phase difference of 180 degrees is observed, okay, and okay, perfectly matched, all the 4 ports are perfectly matched is considered, okay. So in this particular case, all the 4 ports are perfectly matched, so all the diagonal elements are becoming 0, and you can see here S34 is equal to 0, okay. Means if I'm applying input at port 1 and port 2, it is going to give some signal at port 3, okay, different signal at port 4. And okay, if I'm applying port 3, it is equally divided between port 1 and 2. And if I'm applying port 4 input, then it is divided equally but with opposite phase. And on same lines, you should remember that, okay, if I'm applying at port 1, it is not going to appear across port 2, and 1 and 2 are isolated ports. On same lines, if I'm applying at port 3, it is not going to apply, it is not going to appear across port 4. Again, port 3 and port 4 are isolated ports. You can understand 1, 2 and 3, 4 are isolated ports. That means S12 and S21 is equal to 0, S34 and S43 is equal to 0. So isolation, because of isolation, there is no output appearing if I am feeding at other port, okay. So substituting all these values, we are going to get a scattering matrix in this manner. So this is the scattering matrix, okay, of a magic T. So here I'm concluding this session. Okay, I have covered in this session is how the scattering parameters are estimated or calculated for a 2-port or multi-port, and what actually it signifies, okay. Then we have seen for a multi-port E-plane, H-plane and magic T junctions. In the next session, I'm going to cover, okay, the directional coupler, okay, circulator and ferrite based materials also will be covered, okay. Thank you for watching, and this video will be very much helpful, and I have used a material from some of the ebooks for just for communication purpose. This is not for any kind of business purpose. Thank you very much.